Okay, number 11 is super difficult, so I'm going to put a star here again. This comes from the law of cosines. So it says points A and B are separated by a lake. So of course, you know me, I need pictures. I'm going to draw a pretty little lake, and this is point A, this is point B. To find the distance between them, a surveyor locates a point at C on land. So here's a surveyor. He's actually on land. That angle, and we're going to draw a triangle here. And then it gives you all the information to fill in. So it says such that angle CAB is 48.8 degrees. He also measures that CA is 318 feet and CB is 253 feet. It wants you to find this distance, and you have to round to the nearest tenth. So, things that you need to know. Number 1, this is first, if I needed to find this, I could do thetas here and find it that way. I'm given this angle, so I know this part, but I don't know this part. And if I wanted to, I could also find that part. So we're going to start by doing law of sines. So I have the sine of B, which is this angle, over 318 is equal to the sine of 48.8 all over 253. If I cross multiply, I get 253 times the sine of B is equal to 318 times the sine of 48.8. How do I get sine of B by itself? Oh, I'm not even on the video. Sorry, guys. Divide by 253. Excellent. Cancel. So I have the sine of angle B is equal to 318 times the sine of 48.8 all over 253. Now, if I plug all that information in, I get the sine of B is approximately 0.457491. Now, this is where something comes into play. If you remember on your 6.4 note, right here, there was all these different cases. Well, if it was less than 1, then it was either 1 solution or 2 solutions. So we actually had to make the different triangles. So that's why this one's a little bit tricky. So let me jump over here. So I have the sine of B is equal to 0.45791. Now if I wanted B by itself, what would I do? Good. Sine inverse to both sides. And I would get B is approximately 27.23 degrees. So that's where I set up my 2 triangles. I have 48.8 here. I have 48.8 here. X, 318. Oh, I screwed up, guys. This shouldn't be 253. I don't know if you noticed that back here. This is 523. There you go. There's my dyslexia. But anyways, my calculations are based on 523, so I apologize. So I'm sure someone was shouting at me earlier in the video. Anyways, so this is 523. 523. Now, we're going to set this angle up with 27.23 degrees. And if you notice here, I have, if I wanted to find this angle right here, I would have 180 minus 48.8 minus 27.23. That would be theta. And I would end up with 103.97. So this angle in this particular case is 103.97. Now, how would I figure out this one? I would assume that on a unit circle there's two answers where it's 27.3. So we're going to do 180 minus 27.23. And that would give me 152.78. So that's what we're going to plug in right here for this angle. Now in this case, already what do you know about these two? It's larger than 180, so we're not going to solve this triangle. Whew, thank goodness. Too much work. Excuse me. So from there, we now can solve for x. So we would have the sine of 103.97 over x equals, and you can use whichever one you want. And I'm going to use the sine of 48.8 over 523. But you can do whatever you want. You'll get the same answer. So I have x times the sine of 48.8. Excuse me. Being sick is terrible. I sound like an operator with my nose plugged. Divide by sine of 48.8. And then x is whatever that number is. And if you plug it into a calculator, you should get 674.54. So that is your answer to that question. 674.5. Okay, next problem. Number 12. It says, use the law of cosines to determine the indicated side x. Please round to the nearest tenth. So law of cosines is from your 6.5 notes. That's the one where it was this little a and you're solving for that. So it would be a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc times cosine of big A. So that's all the information you need. So if we plug that in, we have a squared is equal to, what's b? Good, 23 squared plus 47 squared minus 2 times 23 times 47, and I'm going to squish it down here times the cosine of what angle? 32 degrees. Excellent. If I plug all this in, I should get a squared equals 529 plus 2209, and I'm going to multiply right here, minus, I'm multiplying all these, 1833.48. Taking it one step further, I would have a squared is equal to the 2738 minus 1833.48. Square root both sides, and a is approximately 30.0752. So it says round to the nearest tenth, so 30.1. Number 13. We're almost done, guys. Use the law of cosines to determine the indicated angle theta. So this time, how the heck am I going to do it? I heard it. I'm going to use little c, because I need the cosine of c. Like up here I had cosine a, which matches, so I need this to be cosine c. So I'm going to use the formula c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab times the cosine of C, because that's where I'm going to have to find everything. If I plug all this in, I have 24 squared, notice it's set up differently this time, is equal to 17 squared plus 10 squared minus 2 times 17 times 10 times the cosine of big C, the angle we're looking for. When I plug in all that information, I have, if I found all this, what's 24 squared? Does anyone know? 24 squared. Anybody? I think I heard it, 576. So I should have 576 is equal to, what's 17 squared? Good. 289 minus 100, I'm sorry, plus 100 minus 2 times 17 times 10. Well, if you multiply all that, you should have 2 times 10 times 17, or whatever order, is 340 times cosine C. Now remember, these all stay together. So this adds up to 389. So I now have 576 is equal to 389 minus 340 times cosine C. How would I get that by itself? What's the next step? Good, I heard it. I would subtract 389 from both sides. And if I did that, I have 187 is equal to negative 340 times cosine C, divide by negative 340, divide by negative 340. So now I have the cosine of C is equal to 187 over negative 340. Now if I want C by itself, what do? Perfect. I cosine inverse it, both sides. These cancel, and I'm left with C is approximately, I think it's 123.367, but it says round to the nearest hundredth, so 123.37 degrees. Oh, excuse me, being sick, not fun. Okay, next one, number 14. Find the area of the shaded figure, correct to 2 decimal places. Now remember, we need Heron's formula, so we have S is equal to 1/2 times A plus B plus C, and we also have area equals square root of S times S minus A times S minus B times S minus C. And everything's already given to you in this particular problem, so it's beautiful, it's really nice. Excuse me. I'm just going to give you the answer. You should get S is equal to 8.5. And the area is the square root of 58.4375. And when you take that square root, you should get approximately 7.64. So I know I cheated there, but I'm trying to cut this video short. Okay, next one. It says 2 tugboats that are 150 feet apart pull a barge as shown. If the length of one cable is 213 feet and the length of the other is 240, find the angle formed by the 2 cables. So right here, round to the nearest integer. So anytime you're finding an angle, you should use law of cosine. So in this case, I'm going to label my triangle A, B, and C. And if I want that angle, I would use little a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc times the cosine of big A. So we're going to do the exact same thing we did on number, 13. So I'm going to cheat here. I'm actually not going to fill anything in for you, make you work a little bit. Well, what you should end up with is that angle A is approximately 38.0884. And if I round to the nearest integer, it would be 38 degrees. So try it on your own, plug these in. This is little side A, little side C, little side B, and hopefully that will help. Coming down the last stretch. Number 16. A boy is flying 2 kites at the same time. Wow, this boy's pretty crazy. He has 360 feet of line out to one kite and 410. He estimates the angle between the two lines to be 30 degrees. Approximate the distance between the two kites. So anytime you're given something where it's side angle side, you're going to use the lovely law of cosine. So I'm going to label this triangle ABC. And if I'm trying to find that side, that's going to be side little a. So I would use a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc times the cosine of big A. And I'll plug everything in for you and then let you solve the rest. Make it work. You should be doing this on your own anyways because it's on your test and you have to do it by yourself. If I get all of this, my answer should be approximately 205.059. And it says round to the nearest integer, so 205 feet. And if you need help, you're welcome to come in and get help on that. Okay. Number 17. Write the first trigonometric functions in terms of the second for theta in the given quadrant. So it says the cotangent of theta and the sine of theta, and theta is in quadrant 2. So if this is the case, quadrant 2 is over here, and here's lovely theta. And, oh, you know what? I meant to take this one off. I apologize. Cross it off. You don't have to do that one. I lied. Number 18. Excuse me. Find the radian measures of angles with the given degrees. So please give the answers to 3 decimal places. So if you remember here, these are the ones where if you want radians, you multiply by pi over 180. And you could just cross cancel from here. So if I divided these by 9, this would be 8 and that would be 20. Divide that by 4, it's 2 and 5. So it should be 2 pi over 5. Now, if I actually plug this in and got decimal places, it would be 1.257 radians. Same thing here, if I cross the zeros off, divide by 3, then you get 5, divide by 3 and you get 6, so I would have 5 pi 6. And then if I plug that into a calculator, I would get 2.618 radians. Okay, number 19. Says find the degree measure of the angle with the given radian measure. So I'm given 11 pi 6, and I need to find degree. So this is where you would do the opposite. Multiply by 180 over pi. These cancel. 6 goes into 180 30 times. So then I would have 11 times 30. And what's 11 times 30? Does anyone know? Anyone have a calculator out there? You should get 330. So it ends up being 330 degrees. So here I have negative 3 pi over 4 times 180 over pi. Once again, the pi's cancel. If I divide this by 2, it's 2. Divide that by 2, it's 90. Once again, that's 45 and 1. So then I have 3 times 45. Anyone know what 45 times 3 is? Good, I heard it. Should be negative 135 degrees. Okay, last question. Find the reference angle to the given angle. So 120. So remember, reference angles have to be in this quadrant, and 120 is over here. So if I want it to go this way, I could look at my unit circle, and it would reflect over to 60 degrees. Remember how I had you draw the triangles like this? So this is 60 degrees. 225 is down here. And if I reflect across to here, it should be 225 minus 180. And that's 45 degrees. And last but not least, 1110. So remember these ones I told you first, make sure it's on a unit circle. So you're going to subtract 360 till you get there. So that's, oops, what am I doing? This is what happens when you're sick and you can't do anything properly. So let's try that again. 0. Can't do that, so this becomes 10. 5 and 7. So 750, I'll subtract again. 390, and then one more time, 390 minus 360, because it's still not quite there, and I should get 30 degrees. Okay, last but not least, number 21. 5 pi fourth, 21 pi fourth, negative 47 pi sixth, and I have to find the reference angle for the given angle. So in this case, 5 pi fourth, look at your unit circle, but if 5 pi fourth is down here, and I want it over here, so I would do 5 pi fourth minus 180, or I look at my unit circle. Now 180 in radians is pi, so first I would need to multiply by 4 over 4 here to get common denominator. So I would have 5 pi over 4 minus 4 pi over 4, and what does that become? Good, 1 pi over 4. So that is the reference angle. And if you don't remember, I told you a trick here, and I said anytime the denominator is a fourth or a sixth, that's what your actual answer is going to be. So in this particular case, it would be pi over 4, and this one would be pi over 6. So I don't know if you remember that, but that was a little trick I taught you. Thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later. Sorry I'm not there. Bye.